Ethiopian Educational Information and Communication Technology presents Educational Satellite Television Programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to today's lesson on the new applications of biotechnology. We began looking at modern applications in our last lesson. We focused on agriculture and food processing. We defined the term genetic engineering and discussed its uses and effects in regards to agricultural development. Today, we will discuss how new applications of biotechnology affect medicine. Are you ready to begin, students? Modern biotechnology is used in many areas of medicine, from making vaccines and drugs to determining genetic origins of disease. As we already learned, biotechnology has been in existence for many years, originating in food production. Applications of biotechnology in medicine began in 1928 with a scientist named Alexander Fleming. While working in a hospital in England, Fleming left some plates of bacteria, which he was culturing near a window. When he went back to look at the bacteria in the plates, he found the bacteria growing on the surface of the dishes as he expected. But he also noticed spots of mold growing with clear areas of agar. In other words, there were some areas where bacteria had stopped growing. Fleming speculated that the particles that blew in from the window, contaminated his plates, and started growing were producing a chemical that killed the bacteria. Fleming found out the microorganism called Penicillium notatum contaminated the bacteria he was culturing. He was able to take a small sample of the chemical that was created. He applied the sample to an infected wound to test if the bacteria on the wound would stop growing as well. The sample he took was not large enough to make a conclusion. Fleming called his sample penicillin. At first, there were difficulties in growing the large cultures required for penicillin development. Also, it was very hard to extract a sample, and once the sample was taken, it was unstable to work with. Two scientists from Oxford University, Howard Florey and Ernst Chain, also worked towards producing penicillin. They used the molds Fleming discovered and soon managed to find a way to extract enough penicillin to test the real potential of the mold. By 1945, enough penicillin was made every year to treat about 7 million infected people. Penicillin is one of the best-known medicines in the world and was the first to really rely on microbiology. Currently, penicillin is developed in a way to produce higher yields than ever before. This means that it is developed to be very effective. It is grown in huge fermenters in a sterilized medium that contains sugar, amino acids, minerals, and other nutrients. Students, for our first activity, you will see a few sentences summarizing what we have just learned. Fill in the blanks with the correct word to complete the sentences.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. I hope that was not too difficult for you. The sentence should read as follows. A scientist named Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin. When he was culturing bacteria, he noticed spots of mold surrounded by clear agar. He took a sample of the chemical that was created and found out it could treat bacterial infections in people. The discovery of penicillin was the first medicine to rely on microbiology. Were you able to correctly answer? If so, great work. The development of penicillin was the first of many medicines developed using microorganisms. When a large amount of genetically engineered bacteria is cultured, proteins are formed. Those proteins are the exact proteins and in the exact quantity needed to make other medical drugs and hormones. Biotechnology also makes it possible to develop vaccines. For example, the milk from some animals has been engineered to produce life-saving proteins. The proteins are more complex than the proteins found in bacteria and have the ability to save lives. The blood-clotting proteins in sheep's milk can be used for people who suffer from hemophilia. Hemophilia is a disorder where blood fails to clot. When ingested, the proteins work to prevent any serious risk of blood loss. What are some of the benefits of biotechnology in medicine? How do these benefits directly affect Ethiopia? For our next activity, take a few minutes to consider these questions. Discuss your thoughts with a classmate.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up! Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. I am very interested in your discussions. I wonder what your ideas were. You may have said that biotechnology allows people to use proteins and other materials to create drugs that can be used to treat once untreatable diseases. You may have also discussed that microorganisms can be used to develop medications that are custom designed to a person's ailments. You may want to further discuss these questions with your teacher and other classmates to ensure that everyone fully understands the benefits of this technology. This brings us to the end of our lesson. Today, we learned about modern applications of biotechnology in regards to medicine. We discussed the discovery of penicillin and how it initiated further development in medicine. Until next time, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.